Guys, I will be dictating two passages every day, one general and one legal. So subscribe to my channel for latest updates. 5 seconds. Madam Speaker, we are all facing in 2 months' time the centenary of this absolute horror when in cold blood somewhere between 379 and 2000 people were moved down by General Dyer and his troops. It was a cold-blooded imposition of colonial will. This was not heat and dust, no one was using violence, and these were unarmed men, women, and children. They were shot down. This was a great national tragedy, and the fact is, it reflected a number of betrayals. The betrayal of the support given by India to the British during the First World War, the betrayal of the promises made to dominion status to our country, the betrayal also of the moral compact that binds those who rule and those who are ruled. It was an act of cruelty. It was a great tragedy in which innocent blood was spilled, and the fact is that at that time I do want to stress those British who were ruling the country tried to brush this sin under the carpet. They actually tried to exonerate General Dyer for his wrongdoing, and when the House of Lords had actually passed a resolution supporting him, it actually took a British newspaper to conduct a campaign to raise money to reward him, and he was given £26,000, which is almost an equivalent of £250,000 today, with a sword to honor him for killing Indians. So there is no question in our minds that it was a national atrocity which made Indians out of many who had not seen themselves as Indians. Sir Rabindranath Tagore returned in protest. It was a major national calamity. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I feel very sad that we are looking at politicization by the ruling party of this great tragic event in our national history. This should have been a time when the House should stand up unanimously and demand an apology from the British on the centenary of this tragedy on 13th of April 2019. That is what we should have been demanding, and not taking petty action to remove the leader of the Indian National Congress from the trust. Let me explain what the background of this was. It was the Congress that set up its own investigation because the British were trying to whitewash the crime. Jawaharlal Nehru personally went to Jallianwala Bagh, counted all the bullet holes. There was a detailed report given, and in that report the Congress party laid out the nature of this horrible cover-up the British were trying to do. It was the Congress party as the nationalist movement that provided relief to the wounded, the dying, and the helpless people. In December 1919, we had a Congress annual session in Amritsar presided by Pandit Nehru, where it was decided that the party should acquire the Jallianwala Bagh in order to build a national memorial. The British tried to block it. They tried to put other things in that site. But in fact, a resolution moved by Pandit Mohan, whom this government has honored, with the Bharat Ratna was passed, saying that the Congress party should take over this site. It was passed on 27th December 1919. Let me quote the words of Pandit Mohan. He said, "We have decided to raise the memorial not with any narrow motive, not to keep alive the dark deeds of General Dyer. We want it to be a memorial to the Hindu-Muslim unity that had sprung out of the intermingling of Hindu and Muslim blood on that field of carnage." It was said by Bharat Ratna Madan Mohan. The Congress intended this monument to be a symbol of Hindu-Muslim unity in our country, something which sadly this present government does not value. A trust was established to oversee the development and maintenance of the memorial, and by 1951 Jawaharlal Nehru was the last living member of that trust. That is why the Congress decided to establish a statutory trust to oversee the site. It was Dr. Ambedkar, whom this government pays lip service to, who actually moved the resolution, the bill in the Lok Sabha on the 21st April 1951 to convert the trust into a national statutory trust. In that bill, he designated the President of the Indian National Congress as an ex officio trustee. Why did he do that? It was because the Congress had bought the land. The Congress party had established the trust. The Congress party had roused the conscience of the nation on what had happened in Jallianwala Bagh. Therefore, because of the intimate connection between the Congress and the memorial, as Pandit Nehru himself said in the debate in Parliament that time, that is the only reason that the Congress party president was placed as an ex officio trustee.